Amber Jackson, hopeful PTA one of these days. Just a heads up, the AC heating and cooling guys next door are working on my neighbor's stuff and they are giving me weird looks. Alright, so these will be my pretend parallel bars right here. And then some of the first exercises I would do for someone who just has gotten a new prosthesis would be first, we would just do some kind of partial weight shifts. And I would use the scale for this so that they can gauge and I can gauge how much weight they're actually putting on their amputated side. So I would just get them to just step on here and then they can hold on to the parallel bars for support, and we're just gonna rock slowly, just kind of back and forth. And I'll make sure that they're not trying to lift up with this leg yet, that both legs stay planted on the floor, and we're just slowly just rocking back and forth. And we can gauge how much the scale says to determine how much weight they're actually putting on that side. And progressions from here, you could do just kind of just one arm, just hold on to the parallel bar with just one arm, and just slowly back and forth. And then progression from that would be to not have any hands. You can kind of hold to the side if you need to, but no hands supporting yourself with the parallel bars. Just going back and forth like that. And then from here, we can move this out of the way. And now we're actually going to do just complete shifts back and forth. So last time it was just kind of putting weight on this side. This time we'll go completely from one side to the next. Just slow like that. Kind of keep kicking your hip out a little bit over here to make sure you're putting weight on whichever side your hip's kicking out at. And then progressions of this as well will be the exact same thing. Just have one hand on the parallel bars as you do this, and then no hands on the parallel bars. You can kind of hold your hands to your side. From here, I wouldn't want them to do any kind of like funky, like doing anything like that with their pelvis or anything. I would just make sure that it would just be slow and controlled, just all the way over here, and then all the way over here. And then after that, we would actually work on kind of moving your pelvis back and forth, so kind of the anterior posterior kind of tilt. And so it would just be parallel bars, just kind of just kicking your weight kind of up front, and then kicking your weight kind of out and back behind you, just doing like that, just working on your balance, working on getting used to using your prosthesis. And for this, it's important that they're not doing it like this with their shoulders as they're coming back and forth too, because this is all, we don't really want any of the shoulders moving or anything like that, no upper body. This is just mainly just your core, just your pelvis kind of just moving back and forth. And then from there, we would do actual weight shifts. So this one would be where I would want this leg to come up. So you would just kind of do like that. And then you can also pick up the prosthesis as well, because that's also working on balance on this leg as well. So it's just great to kind of weight shift on using it with both legs. So just the parallel bars for support, just coming down and here, coming down. And so during this, I would make sure that they're not leaning too far back if they kind of feel weak or unstable, or making sure they're not leaning too far forward as well. And also when they're coming down on this leg, that it's not doing anything, not wanting to buckle or do anything like that. And also to make sure that this one also has good form as well. From here, we can actually do these kind of partial weight shifts. I mean, not partial weight shifts, full weight shifts as well. Just kind of get them in a walking stance, or kind of like a standing lunge, where they would just go back and forth. And this is going to start helping them start understanding what it feels like to start walking on this prosthesis like this. And then they can also, make sure I'm in the camera, they can also practice on their heel strike as well. So just this, and just letting that foot drop down, and then picking it back up, just putting it back down. So this is going to be very important to just make sure that they're actually having proper heel strike during their gait, that it's not going to cause any kind of like foot slap or foot drop or anything, that they're actually being able to control their prosthesis to make it heel strike appropriately. And then from here, we could, even if they're brand new and starting out, I could see if they just wanted to hold on to the parallel bars with one hand and just kind of play, kind of catch back and forth with just like a small ball or something like that. Or if they were feeling up to it at this point, I would get them to kind of just play, kind of catch back and forth, just to see how their balance is. If they're good for it, it's a brand new thing, but they may be able to surprise themselves. So I would even try to play catch with them the very first time, just to see. And if they're so wobbly and so out, not balanced and everything, then we could just say that for the next time. All right.